This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Colorado Springs, Colorado. We are at the Money Museum. Since 1967, they have been America's largest museum dedicated to numismatics and diverse nature of money. I am here with the curator, Douglas. First of all, let me ask you this. Share with me a little bit about the origins of how the museum began and came about.
Well, the museum is part of the American Numismatic Association. The association's been around since the 1890s, so we've been around a long time. For example, we've got a Civil War exhibit here, and what's really cool about it is we talk about the Civil War, and we've got some muskets, and we've got different things like that, but we talk about how the money really made the difference. The fact that the North was able to organize their money better was part of the reason why they won. And you see Confederate money, you see Northern Union money, we've got the heroes, battles, everything is on the money.
Wonderful. Like you said, we have fought for money, loved for money. I mean, it's amazing. It's the existence all the way back to, I believe he said BC, what was it, 70 BC?
Actually about 700 BC. So
that's amazing. It's a long time. The square footage on the facility here, I mean, quite honestly, you've expanded. It looks great. What is the typical profile of a person who walks through here? We're talking about children, adults, collectors, or all the above?
Well, it's somewhat all of the above. The majority of people that come through now, we have, depending on the time of year, we have school trips that come through. We actually finance buses for the various schools so that they can bring their field trips in. So we have a large number of kids from, third grade or through high school. Plus we have a lot of visitors who come specifically to see the Money Museum because we are a destination site for collectors, numismatists. Then there are the people who, we've had people come by and go, well, I'm coming to the Fine Arts Center. Oh, there's a money museum here. So it covers a large range.
A large gamut of folks that walk through the doors here. I understand you've got three main galleries here. Why don't we start off, first of all, with the Bass Gallery. What are we going to find back there?
Well, the Bass Gallery is based on the collection of an individual, Harry W. Bass, who created a collection of U.S. gold coins that was fantastic for its time. It's one of the best collections ever put together of U.S. gold. Now, Harry Bass was fascinated by not just the normal collecting of date and mint mark. He was interested in the variations on the actual, each date, their varieties, based on the dyes, how they wore. So he was a real scholar of coins and how they're produced and the methods used, how they change what the coins look like. So he was different for his time. Well, we're very lucky to be able to show the highlights of his collection here. It's the best collection of early U.S. gold that you can see on display anywhere in the country.
Amazing how one man's collection, can have so much within it. One of the things I noticed in the gallery there is the way you have utilized multimedia. We're talking about screens that you can reach out, touch, and learn something right in front of you.
Absolutely. One of the things we do try to do is make the exhibits accessible and interesting for all levels. Some ways of doing that are, having the coins on the wall and visible with labels, having the extra added attraction of touch screens allows you to get details of individual pieces so you can see them blown up. And we're trying to do that throughout the museum. It's a challenge because it's one of those things that you have to be able to get the equipment and everything else into. But we're doing more and more of that as we go.
I even see where you can actually call in on your cell phone and get some information about an exhibit in front of you.
Absolutely. The Harry Bass collection has a traditional tour where you have a wand, right, but we have the phone tours and certain objects. We have numbers that you can call to get a specific short lecture on what that coin is and why it's important.
On the lower level there, they have what's called a publisher's gallery. Explain what that is and what goes on down there.
Whitman is a company that is one of the major publication companies for numismatics. They produce a lot of the basic books that everybody that collects buys and uses, plus a lot of other more historical books covering the gamut of numismatic studies from ancient world, Bible, to the modern world and modern coins. They sponsored our gallery, and so it's named after them. That gallery currently has 3 different sections in it. The core part is the history of money. This is an exhibit that covers the range of the history of money from the beginning until the modern day. It has a heavier focus on U.S. coins and paper money, but it covers anything from Chinese paper to Indian coins from 300 BC to beaver pelts and iron crosses that were used in Africa and in North America in the early days of colonial settlement, things like that. We also have some interesting adjuncts. The mini mint, where we have a display that allows people to see how coins were produced graphically and all this stuff, neat equipment, but we also run it. It's a working display so that we can actually take a piece of metal from a bar and turn it into a strip, cut it into little cookie-shaped pieces, and make actual tokens or coins out of them. So that's very interesting. Kids love that.
Absolutely. One of the things I noticed here, I mean, obviously you've made it nice for kids to be able to learn in an easy way, but quite honestly, this has to be a collector's dream to walk through these doors. I mean, somebody who's studied this all their lives, this has got to be a great place to come to.
Sure. You know, as you said, we've got a kids zone, and it's very kid-friendly and lots of activities there. But for the average collector and advanced collectors, we've got something for everyone. We've got high-end pieces that they've only heard about in legendary stories of the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1804 dollar. Those are on display here. And we have other pieces ranging from very rare to quite common, but the key that makes it all very interesting and adds to the collector's experience is how we tie it together and talk about things like, why were these made in the first place? Absolutely. You know, In God We Trust, why is that on our coins? That's part of our Civil War display. So there's a lot of stories, a lot of interesting pieces. They're designed to grab people's imagination, whether you're a kid or 70 years old and you're interested in whatever subject area you're interested in. We've got something that can hopefully grab your attention.
Grab anyone out there. One of the things out there, I see you've got different levels here, a lot of space to go through. Are some of the galleries permanent, and do some of them change yearly?
Yes, we do have permanent galleries and changing galleries. The basement, which is where our History of Money display is, that is designed to be a permanent gallery with changing elements. So we have the mini mint, which is designed to be active. So it's an active every free Saturday. You know, once a month we have a free Saturday, the third Saturday of the month, and we'll man that and have it going on for displays for anybody that wants to come in. They get free tokens and all this. We also do it for tours at times. The Kids Zone is the same way. Part of the exhibit will change as time goes on an irregular basis. We don't do it on a yearly basis. The upstairs gallery, this gallery, which includes the Civil War exhibit, changes not so much on a yearly basis. More, the plan is to be more on a 2-year basis, with activities in between. The Bass Gallery is a permanent display. Right. So we have a mixture of things. Usually, if you come here once every 6 months, you'll see something that's new and different. Not necessarily a whole gallery, but at least parts of things.
I mean, not only that, but obviously to walk through each piece slowly, it sometimes can be better if you come in multiple visits. Obviously, the best way to experience that is through your membership. Share with us how they get involved in that way.
Well, there's a number of ways of doing that. As a member of the ANA, you have access to our magazine, The Numismatist, which is a great hobby magazine. It has stories covering the gamut of numismatics. If you're interested in modern coins, it has stories about that. It has advertising. You know, it's a great way to get into the hobby. Our membership also includes access to our website beyond just the front end, which anybody can get to. So there are a lot of different avenues to access more information on how to collect, where to go to, and we do that as well here. One of the things that's, you know, the Money Museum is not well known in the local area, but we have access to amazing collections, but we have a great library. our library is the largest numismatic lending library in the country. So anybody with a library card in the Pikes Peak region can borrow books from here or come to the library and do research. If they have any interest in metals, coins, paper money, anything to do with anything numismatic, it's here.
One of the things that really attracted me to the location here was the fact that obviously you're going to learn about money. I mean, show me the money, this is the place. But honestly, it's also a lesson not only in art, in history, archaeological, we're talking about banking, finance, economics. There's a lot really wrapped up into one place here.
Absolutely. One of the really interesting things that people don't realize is that money, the study and history of money, is not just about coins and how you exchange them and how much something's worth at any given time. That's part of it. Money is one of the things that links human experience throughout history. For as long as money's been around, money tells you stories. They tell you stories from the images and the messages on them. You know, we find out that what a Roman emperor looked like. And what did they want people to think about them? You know, they're great and generous, or they're victorious and terrible to their enemies. And this goes throughout history. You know, you look at a U.S. note today. If you look at the symbols and imagery on them, what is it saying? It has something to say. And what's really cool from my standpoint is when you look at money, this is often the first thing that a person coming into a country will see. It says something about the country. You look at that country and you see every single note or coin has one image on it of one person. Who is that person? Is it, you know, either it's a country that's a kingdom or it's a dictatorship. You get an idea of what it is that a certain country wants the outside world to see about them, what they want people to know as the first thing that they would see.
Obviously, a huge part of our culture is what money is, and that goes worldwide. Like you said, it really behind, you've got over 250,000 objects here. Each one really has a story within itself. And you made it in such a way that it's enjoyable for kids. It's interactive. Basically, they're going to learn as they go. And like you said, you made it real accessible because you even provide a bus for some of the kids to get over here. It doesn't get much better than that. And also, there's even interactive online where kids can actually go in on the download some of the features there.
Yeah, we've got some games, numismatic games that they can play. They're designed around coins. Basically, the idea is that by learning something about coins, you can learn something about what's on the coins, the messages, you know, e pluribus unum. It's on U.S. coins. What does it mean? A lot of people don't know Latin, and they can learn that by playing some of the games. So it's fun for the kids to play with, but it's also a learning tool as well.
A great learning tool. Folks, take a look at the bottom of the screen. You're going to see their website. Obviously, the best way to experience is walk through the doors here, check out the different levels, multiple galleries they have. Some of them are permanent, some will be changing. The best way to get involved is become a member, because then you can come in, check it out. Like he says, every 6 months you might see something a little new. Even if nothing changed, I guarantee if you walk through 3 or 4 times, you're going to see things you've never seen before. That is a guarantee. Check them out on Facebook there as well, because after you've gone through the gallery, they would love to know what you think as well. As my mom used to say, a penny for your thoughts. They'd love to know what you felt like as you walked through the gallery here and checked it out. And keep in mind also that they're open year-round and they're available for group tours as well. So if you want to contact for group tours, that's a great way to do it. What are some of the stories that people walk through the doors here? Share with me what people have said.
Well, a lot of times I get things like, well, I never knew that. I didn't realize that we made, you know, money like that, oh, so-and-so was on the money. We've had some great stories through here. You know, Abner Doubleday, the founder of baseball, we had a medal that was issued to him because he was a great Civil War hero. Right. You know, this is a guy that became a general in the Civil War, and it turns out he really wasn't the founder of baseball, but he was connected to it. He was actually more famous in the 1800s and early 20th century because of his role in the Civil War. He was an important general. He was at Fort Sumter as a lieutenant, things like that. So we have stories that come through all different levels, and the kinds of things that people really focus on range from individuals that have appeared on money to, wow, I didn't realize that money was so important to the whole outcome of the Civil War, or, geez, I didn't know the Chinese had paper money back in 1300.
Absolutely.
They did.
And like I said, opening up, basically money makes the world go around, and it's interesting. People love talking about it, and there's no better place to come out here to the Money Museum where you're going to learn quite a bit. As I walked around just in a few minutes, there's quite a bit I learned. First of all, I didn't know there was a $10,000 bill that was in existence. That amazed me. I also didn't realize that China has no way of knowing really when money started back then, because somebody was basically covering up a lot of that. Very interesting. I'm sure you, your family, will have a great time here at the Money Museum. We're talking about America's largest museum, really dedicated to the nature of money. You're going to learn history, basically through that of money. This is Gary Atensu with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.